Right, hello year 3 and welcome. In today's lesson we're going to be looking at the rainforest fact file. So we're going to be planning one together and we're going to be looking at how to plan that together, how to take information from one piece of text and use it in our own plan. Okay, so before we start it, it's very important to say some of the skills we look at in today's video we're also going to be looking at in later videos and in the coming weeks. Okay, so I hope you find this lesson useful and I hope you're all keeping safe as well. Let's have a look at today's. In front of me here I have a fact file of the rainforest PO2. Okay, now this is what you are going to be creating for your work or your home learning this week. So this is quite an impressive fact file we can see here. We've got something at the top here. If you want to pause it, you can try to work out what we would call this. So something at the top. And we've got these things here, almost like headings. So pause it now if you want to have a guess, or not guess, if you want to try to work that out. So if you said that this is our heading, you're correct. And if you said these were our subheadings, you're also correct. So we'll briefly have a look at this, and then I'm going to explain exactly what you're going to be doing. So this is, of course, our fact file of the rainforest PO2. Okay. Now we've got several subheadings here: a strange-looking birds, appearance, diet, habitat. And if we go over to the next page, which should, if you bear with me, I had a few technical difficulties there. So we can see that our fact file goes over to 2 pages. That we have some more subheadings here: did you know, noisy nocturnal hunters, and PO2s in danger. So it's quite an interesting text, and we'll have a look through some of that in a second. But this is what you're going to create. You're going to create your own rainforest fact file using this information here. So let's have a look at how you're going to be using this information here to create your own rainforest fact file. So this is the fact file which you're going to be using as your plan. So we can see here that again we've got our main heading at the top, this is your space where you're going to write your main heading, and here we've got different subheadings which you're going to use again to fill out this fact file. So you've got image of my animal, introduction, appearance, habitat, diet, and interesting fact. And we've got 2 bullet points here as well. So you're going to be writing up your fact file on this plan here. So here we've got our 2 fact files next to one another. Now apologies if this isn't very clear. It's the best way I've been able to get both of the sheets on the screen at the same time. So for this part you're going to pause it as we go through it, just so we can fill out each section at the same time. Okay, so we can see here that our fact file is missing something here. So I'm going to look at this sheet here. Remember, we're going to use this fact file to help us plan our own one. Okay, so we're going to be using the information here. We're going to be researching the information we've got here, and we're going to be changing it to put it into our own words on this sheet here. Okay, so like I said a few seconds ago, at the top here we've got a blank box. What do you think is going to go here? What information are we going to take away from this side to put over here? So of course we're going to take our title here. So fact file rainforest PO2. So we've got here rainforest animal fact file at the top already. So I'm not going to write that whole thing out. I'm just going to write here rainforest PO2. So I'm going to put that title here. Now here, this one I think is hopefully pretty easy to explain. So here, of course, we're going to put the image of our animal. Now, if we look at our box here where it says introduction, we notice that on this sheet there isn't a paragraph which says introduction. So which of these do you think is going to be the introduction? If you said this one, yes, you're correct. So again, this in the fact file, you wouldn't normally have the title of introduction. Okay, that's why for this one, this is our introduction, but they've given it a different name. So it still introduces the topic of that facts file, but instead of saying introduction, it's got this, a strange looking bird. So you'll now have a read through this paragraph here and pause it now if you'd like to. I want you to try and take maybe, let's say 3 or 4 bullet points from here, and you're going to write that into your introduction. So remember, you're not copying this word for word. I want you to try and maybe separate this paragraph into 2 bullet points and see if you can do the same with this one, okay? And then you're going to write that information there. So pause it now if you'd like to. Now let's have a look at our next one. So our appearance box, we can see here that the appearance box has the same title as it does on our plan. Now again, we can see here that similar to the diet as well and habitat, that those headings are matched up, okay? So we need to read through these 3 paragraphs here, okay? I'll read through the first one, and like we did on the previous one for this part of the introduction, I want you to try and break it down into, let's say for this one, maybe 2 or 3 bullet points. This one, 2 bullet points, and this one we can get in 1. Okay, so I'll read through the appearance, and then after that, you can pause the video and you can start to write out your own bullet points using this information on your plan. Okay, so let's read through this one. I have to keep remembering how to say this bird correctly. Potus. So, appearance. Potus have huge gaping mouths and large yellow eyes, which provide the bird with excellent vision. Their feathers are brown, grey and black, and are perfect for giving the bird camouflage among tree trunks and bark. Often, potus can be found perching vertically, blending into their surroundings, with an appearance resembling a broken tree branch. Their camouflage is so effective that very few people have actually seen the birds in the wild. So, from this paragraph, again, you're going to break it into 2 or 3 bullet points. From my point of view, from when I've read through it, remember, you're picking out that key information. We're not going to copy it word for word, but from my point of view, the main parts that I found interesting here, or the biggest piece of information that I think is the most important, is the camouflage. So I'm going to try and mention something in my plan about the camouflage, because that is quite an interesting fact that I think my reader would hopefully like to read about. So pause it now, and like I said, break this paragraph here into 2 or 3 bullet points, write them here, similar with diet and habitats. Right, so this is for the last section on our plan, on our own plan, which says interesting facts. So you'll notice here that we have not got a subheading, that says interesting facts. Now I want you to again pause it, try and work out which one of these you think would be, or you think we could get that information to use for our own interesting facts box. Now, if you said, did you know? Yeah, you're partly correct. However, you could also say noisy nocturnal hunters and potus in danger. Now, that's because for your interesting facts, you're trying to, although these are quite interesting facts, that the potu lays a single egg but generally does not build a nest for it. That's an interesting fact. However, in your plan, you'll see that you haven't got these 2 pieces of information included. So you might want to, and this is something that I do, perhaps take 1 bullet point from here, so 1 piece of information from this paragraph, and 1 piece of information from this paragraph, and then for your own interesting fact box, include that in, or rather include this information in your own interesting fact box, because you've got really rich information here which you could then put into your own plan.